Greetings everyone, here we go for today's daily match, and this is going to be the second match taken from that best out of 3 that I started last night. It's going to be another face-off between here the green Protoss MaNa, member of Team mouzSports, a Polish player. I already presented him, you guys know who he is. He's quite well known on the European servers, and he's facing once again against the red Terran SjoW, Swedish player that rumor has it he's gonna try his luck on the GSL 3, so he's gonna be flying to Korea pretty soon. Keep in mind that the GSL 3, the offline qualifiers, will start this following week, and like 2 weeks from now we're gonna be on the round of 64 again. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty fast, and we're gonna have all the top players back again playing on that top tournament pretty soon. For the ones that didn't watch the first match and are just watching this one, well, go take a look at it please, because this is a best out of 3, and the result out of that match, I'm gonna spoil it for you guys now. It's 1-0, SjoW is leading, and well, SjoW just dominated. He actually ended off the game with a lot of marauders and siege tanks, and he was facing kind of an interesting mix from MaNa. He mixed a lot of different units and even committed himself to get upgrades for his flying units. He had like 3 or 4 Void Rays and 2 Phoenixes, and he even took his time to get the upgrades for those. Was interesting. I think his plan was changed mid-game because, well, he wasn't able to just sustain all those air units, and on the first confrontation, the first clash, they got pretty much shot down. He lost several of the Void Rays. The Phoenixes wandered off and kept annoying any unit that went to the Zalago watchtowers, as you guys checked, but I mean, they didn't do that much. He didn't use them for any proper micro, like lifting some siege cannons or anything like that, so not sure if that game went exactly the way he was expecting. On SjoW's side, well, he just took advantage of it. The second he saw several Colossi coming out, he just went Marauder. I was actually kind of surprised that he didn't went like straight Viking, but I mean, Marauder did the job. He had so many anyway, he just kept blasting, backed up by those siege tanks, and destroyed everything that moved in front of him. Anyway, that was the first match. Being this is best out of 3, obviously MaNa will have to take the win on this one, because if he doesn't take the win on this match, well, this series is basically over for him. Incoming probe from MaNa, gonna check what's going on here on SjoW's base, and what's going on is Rex into factory. For now, not much going on. There's the Marine starting to go after that probe, making sure that the probe doesn't roam around the base for too long. I'm pretty sure he wants to keep his build without MaNa know exactly what's going on. Let me get the HP bars up, and that probe is almost finished. One more shot and I would say it will be gone. Oh, and got just surrounded by that second Marine that came down from the ramp. Meanwhile, here on MaNa's side, Chrono boosting a Stalker out of his gateway, and what else he's getting? He got the core, got also the gas, already 2 gas running, and once again getting a secret building here on this corner, which is a robotics facility. So he had an interesting opening, a kind of curious opening on the first match, and now on the second one, on the first one he went for that Stargate that you guys saw. On this first one, seems like he's gonna go for a fairly early robotics facility. Not sure exactly what plans he has for it, but as you guys see there on the gas, he already has plenty of gas for this early in the game, and getting an observer out. Meanwhile, here on SjoW's side, yeah, it's still barracks and factory, taking care of his supply depots, even placing one here on the back, making sure that nothing will be landing here on the back without him noticing. Works kind of like a motion detector, it's quite useful. And it appears that here on MaNa's side is going for another gateway, so working out of 3-4 gateways with the robo finishing that observer. I wonder what he's gonna get next, because he still has plenty of gas and he keeps accumulating, so something is in his plans. For now, getting a sentry out, already has the Stalker trying to wall off there. Meanwhile, on SjoW's side, he went for some Hellions, already building a second one, and getting the Infernal Pre-Igniter upgrade. So I think he's going to be committed to the Hellion play for a while, or else he wouldn't be investing on that Infernal Pre-Igniter. Also, I see that he's already transitioning to some kind of mech mix, because there's already siege tanks coming out. And meanwhile, on MaNa's side, here's the reason why he wanted that robotics facility so soon. Warp Prism coming out, so we're gonna have some drop moves coming out from the Protoss player, something that you don't see that often. Play-wise, mouzMaNa has been very original on both matches, very creative and going for different approaches to how to play Protoss, but I'm not sure how this one is gonna work. For now, incoming that first Warp Prism, he's gonna load some units. There it is, Stalker Sentries and a Zealot, getting ready to advance into the base of SjoW, and meanwhile SjoW also preparing his own drop with a Medivac on his main base. And there it is on the main base of MaNa, advancing into that mineral line with Infernal Pre-Igniter roasting everything there. While on this side the drop is already made, MaNa already advancing into the mineral line with those two Zealots slicing and dicing all the SCVs, and now leaving the Warp Prism on that mode that allows to teleport more units in with the Warp Gate technology. So he's just wreaking havoc inside SjoW's base, while SjoW was trying exactly to do the same with his Medivac loaded with Hellions, but he had to actually pull a Hellion and get it back here, try to fend off this assault. And seems like that this base trade here, or at least a drop trade, I would call it like that, on both player bases, is kind of finished for now. There's several kills here for the units from MaNa. Look at it, 3 kills and 6 kills, and those two Hellions didn't do as much damage, I would say, on the base of MaNa, but he loaded it once again with more Hellions, and he keeps producing. He's just going for straight Hellions at the moment, and he wants to harass more MaNa. So getting ready for another drop. Oh, instantly spotted by those Stalkers. They were right on that corner, making sure that you would be able to notice if any Hellion tried to advance there, any Medivac. And here comes 3 Hellions, entering once again the main base, trying to go on the ramp, crossing their path with that Warp Prism. So I'm not sure if they're gonna spot or suspect about anything, because that Warp Prism just came from down here and left a single probe. Seems like that MaNa, instead of picking up his natural expo, is gonna try to play safe on that island and just try to build up his expo on that island, trying to bet on the situation that his opponent won't be suspecting that he actually has a base there. Keep in mind that those Hellions, when they advanced here to the ramp, they saw this Warp Prism coming from the south, so maybe SjoW might be considering or wondering what's going on south side. Here comes the Nexus, first expo getting picked by MaNa, far away from his base. If he's able to keep it safe, he might be benefiting from a nice income from there, but seems like he's just flying around with a patrol of Stalkers loaded on that Warp Prism and checking both the Xel'Naga Watchtower. So he will arrive here and spot that Hellion and is gonna finish it off, even leaving units on that high ground there. And that Hellion just got saved. Oh, so close, almost killed. Look at the amount of Hellions he has here. Let's check at the unit count. 1 Viking, 1 Siege Tank, 7 Hellions, 10 Marines, 1 Marauder, and there's plenty of Medivacs already. I'm not sure if he's gonna prepare a lot of base drops, but seems like it because he has so many Medivacs at the moment. Also, he's already picking up his base, so he's going to be working out of 2 bases as well, just as MaNa is. For now, he's messing up his big army here. Let's check the army count. Fairly close, 66, 64. Switching his barracks with his factory and attaching it to the tech lab and to the reactor. There it is, the bulk of the forces from SjoW still messed up on his main base. Meanwhile, here on MaNa's side, he's still working out of the robotics bay to get the extended thermal lance and gonna get some Colossus out. Taking care of this Xel'Naga Watchtower, making sure he's gonna be able to spot any move trying to advance into his base, and incoming a Medivac loaded with 3 Hellions, and seems like that SjoW is suspecting something, because look at him, he's just randomly flying south, wondering where his opponent has any base established. And take a look at the waypoints that he had there. He keeps going for the next waypoint, and seems like he's gonna be heading this way. This doesn't look good for MaNa. If he loses this base, he's gonna have a fairly big hit on his income. At the moment he's leading, as you guys can see, more Harvesters and also more income. And here comes the Medivac loaded with the 3 Hellions, spotted the place, and now drop incoming. There's no defenses here. Probably MaNa is going to be needing to make some kind of a warp gate here, just warp some units in, and all those 3 Hellions, ooh, just killing all of those probes, raising that expo, nothing coming out of there. And look at the result on the income. Instant shot there on mouzMaNa's income, and now leaving this Medivac hanging here while he builds up his army. kind of a mix, yeah, Marines with some Hellions and some siege tanks. A second warp prism advanced into his base, but this one is gonna get detected by this motion sensor here. Yeah, he knows what's going on here, so I don't think he's gonna be able to defend it. Also, meanwhile, here on MaNa's base, he's getting what at the moment? Building some Colossus, also reinforcing with Stalkers, while SjoW, based on the production tab, is getting all the upgrades for his ground unit. So once again, we're gonna have a similar, I mean, build for SjoW. Once again, it's going to be M&M, backed up by some mech, this time with plenty of Hellions on the fray, and look at all these Medivacs, backed up by a single Viking, probably trying to be aware of any Colossi that might show up, just making sure he's going to have something to counter that Colossi, I would say. And this observer has been keeping tabs on the movement, so there it is, MaNa reacting to that big column of units that he's advancing here. Apparently SjoW won't be going straight into the main base. Yeah, there he is, now going straight into the main base, and the Viking leading the way, trying to go up on that base. There it is, trying to climb up the ramp, give some visibility to all the units that might advance up into the main base. Meanwhile, there's the Warp Prism once again, and the forces from MaNa advancing into SjoW's army. Big bulk there, all of them standing in the ramp, while the Colossi shoot them all down from the top of that high ground, with Stalkers backing them up on the front line. Now single Colossi melting away all those units. Oh, look at how fast they melted those Marauders. Really nasty. Now some Stalkers backing it up and destroying what's left of those Medivacs. Medivacs really quickly trying to unload all the units before they get killed, but just got completely burned to crisp. Look at all those bodies just burned charcoal there. Oh! Meanwhile, seems like that SjoW is gonna back up a bit. He doesn't have any units. He's trying to rebuild his army. Only left a single siege tank to back up there, just to make sure he's gonna be able to send a couple of blasts to any unit advancing. And here comes the units. Zealot leading away, backed up by those Stalkers, and with the extended thermal lance, mouzMaNa just destroying him with those Colossi. Once again, another drop getting ready. I wonder if it's gonna be once again on this expo. I would say so. There is some defenses here. Army count at the moment still very similar, and both players don't have that much of an army. Well, basically they just came out of a big confrontation, so they just melted away a lot of their army composition. But apparently SjoW is gonna prepare more drops on that faraway expo from mouzMaNa, even sending a Hellion, scouting around, making sure that there's nothing else, that MaNa doesn't have any other expo besides this one. Incoming the drop. There's already some Stalkers here trying to defend, pulling all the probes out to just back it up, and apparently MaNa was trying to advance here just to back up with some units on the minimap, but he actually is not gonna come here. This assault is gonna get successful for now, killed all the units that were here. 2 more Zealots advancing. With these 2 Zealots he might be able to fend off this assault, slicing that Marauder, and now going after that single Hellion with the Infernal Pre-Igniter that keeps burning everything away, and actually finished off the drop. So once again, this base is cleared, but at what price, I honestly don't know. He never had that many workers there, that many probes working on that mineral line, because it already got arrested at least 2 times, and it shows obviously there on the income tab. SjoW has been stabilizing his income, working out of 2 bases just fine. He didn't suffer any offense, but seems like that now MaNa is preparing a second advance, second wave to assault here on SjoW's natural expo. Also using the Warp Prism to just teleport the units here instead of having to make them walk all of this way, so it will make the advance faster if he decides to go and push right now. Waiting for that final Colossus, and now advancing. He isn't even producing anything, he's just pulling away, and here comes big face-off once again. Marine Marauder Ball. I think this Marine Marauder Ball might be at risk with this big amount of Colossus, but MaNa just GG's out of the match, and I was completely wrong. Those Marauders just destroyed totally that 4 Colossi unit composition. That army of MaNa didn't lasted longer. I mean, he burned to crisp, as you can see, all the Marines, but the Marauders were resistant enough to fend off the assault, backed up by these Vikings. And, well, with this result, MaNa just lost and is out of the tournament, out of CraftCup. SjoW will be passing to the semifinals. I hope you guys enjoyed this match. See you all later. Have fun.